Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, this meeting is for the second and final reading by the board to approve the fiscal year 2016 budget. Before we move on to board discussion, since we don't currently have a quorum, is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on any of the items on the board? On the budget, excuse me. Okay. Then we will move on to item 3.0, second reading and approval of fiscal year 16 school budget. Prior to taking action on this, Deb, would you like to speak to any changes between what we're seeing here and what we saw at the last board meeting?
The bottom line remains the same. The only difference is there was a reduction in state subsidy when I pulled the subsidy report to prepare the warrant, and there was a reduction of $20,098. So instead of cutting anything in this budget for that amount, I've shifted that other revenue up into other revenue. So between the student activities and other revenue that we bring in, that combined along with the tuition, we should make up that $20,000 fairly easy, either between that or a beginning balance. So it didn't change the bottom line, but because the state subsidy was reduced, it does change the percentages just slightly for each individual town.
Okay.
So Rouseck is now 3.89, Bath is 4.71, Pittsburgh is 6.53, and Woolwich is 3.74. But that's it.
Okay, any questions for Deborah on those changes? Jennifer?
Do we know why the state subsidy changed? Was that because our demographics have changed without West Bath?
It was adult education. It was, the first subsidy printout had an average of 25.2 students, and then that calculated out, and now it's 22.2. And why that happened, I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Deborah? Okay, thank you. Then is there a motion from the board? Jennifer?
I'm sorry if I apologize for being late today. I just sent this email out just today, but I just wanted to know that a little bit better about the process is that we vote as a board on this budget, and then how is the process if the citizens have a different decision on what they want in their budget? There's an item in here that's not included, and people really want it to get included.
I'll explain as much as I know, and then if I'm wrong, I'll leave it to you guys to correct me. What happens is, this is the budget that the superintendent and the administration have presented to the board. If we vote to support this budget as it stands, it now becomes our budget. Then on May 26th, when we go to the town hall style meeting, all registered voters who wish to attend can attend, and if there is an item that they would like to take out of the budget or add to the budget, when that cost center comes up, as we go through each of the cost centers, they have the option to make a motion to add a dollar amount or subtract a dollar amount. If that motion is seconded, there will be discussion, and then the entire room, the audience, the registered voters, will vote whether or not to support that change. If that change is voted down, then that line item stays the same as the budget that the board presented. If they vote in favor of that, then that line is, or that cost center is amended to reflect that dollar amount, and it is that dollar amount that will get voted on by the group as a whole. It was pointed out to me, and I know this has come up in the past, and I don't specifically know the details because it hasn't really occurred, but if a citizen were to suggest making a change, they could certainly qualify where that change, where that money would go, what it is that they would be targeting, but it is finally the board's discretion how those dollars would be spent. My inclination is if somebody voted to make a change and were specific about a change, and the community voted for that change, that dollar amount, I can't think of too many circumstances where the board wouldn't acknowledge what it is that the citizen wanted and make sure that that was changed. But we would need feedback from the administration and the superintendent to make sure that we could actually accomplish what it is that they wanted to change. Does that answer your question?
It does. I was just wanting to make sure that it's not, if a change is requested by citizens, it doesn't nullify the whole budget. You can change a component without, because it doesn't have to be a complete up or down at that meeting.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
great, thank you.
sure. Did I get that right? Okay. All right. Any discussion by the board on this budget? Any questions, last minute concerns? All right, is there a motion? Would you? Thank you.
I'll move that the budget be approved as by the board as presented tonight.
Okay, Bill has made a motion to approve the budget as it's been presented this evening. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Second by Jen. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the budget as it was presented this evening, raise your hand. None opposed? We just barely have a quorum. Budget passes. Okay, and as I mentioned, and for folks who are here or who may be watching this, the budget, as we've gone through this process and met with the administration and done our brainstorming, and the Finance Committee has made recommendations, we finally have a budget that the board is making their own. But for the public to approve this budget, it's a two-part process, and that process is dictated by the state of Maine. So on the 26th, we will have a town hall style meeting in the gymnasium, and the public will have a chance to weigh in on the budget and also vote the budget up or down. If the budget passes, then that passed budget will go to referendum, where on June 9th, the district will vote on that at your respective polling place, and that is the second part of the validation process. Okay, item 4.0, to approve the warrants for the district budget meeting and referendum vote. Again, this is an action item. Take these warrants as a whole, and we just need to sign these warrants if we approve those. Is there a motion to approve the warrants?
I move that we approve the warrants.
Okay, motion to approve by Jen, second by Bill. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion to approve, raise your hand. And that passes. Any adjustments, any comments from the board? All right then, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Alan,
Go ahead.
Second is by Jennifer.
okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to adjourn, raise your hand. Okay. This meeting's adjourned. Board members, please stick around because I need you to sign those warrants.